So if there's one thing that's defined the Cleveland Browns this offseason, it's the uncertainty at the quarterback position, and after watching all the back and forth debates, insider leaks, and now even former NFL players chiming in with reports, I think we need to actually slow down and unpack what's actually happening, because this Browns quarterback room is unlike anything we've seen in the NFL in a long time, and now we are just weeks away from training camp. We're talking about a team that went into the offseason knowing Deshaun Watson's situation was still up in the air, and then proceeded to acquire 4 very different quarterbacks in Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and the rookies of Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And now we're hearing reports from respected former players like TJ Houshmandzadeh that the battle might already be down to 2 names, Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel. Let's start right there. According to TJ on the Nightcap podcast, someone inside the Browns building who is not a player reportedly told him that the quarterback competition is primarily between Pickett and Gabriel right now. That's right, Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders are, at least for now, on the outside looking in. At least according to him. Now, you can take that report however you want it. We don't know exactly who TJ's source is. It could be a scout, a staffer, someone with access to practice tape, who knows. But the fact that he's hearing Pickett and Gabriel are the front runners, that tells us a lot. And I feel like everyone has the right to have feelings about this if it is true. Before I continue on though, real quick, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 60,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so getting back to the video, I think this report honestly kind of lines up with some of the moves the Browns have made. Think about it. When free agency opened up, the first guy the Browns brought in wasn't Joe Flacco, it was Kenny Pickett. They made the trade with the Eagles, sent out Dorian Thompson-Robinson in the process, and took a calculated shot on a young quarterback who still has some developmental upside, even if his stint with the Steelers didn't pan out, at least in the eyes of the front office, because I personally don't think that. I'm not a Kenny Pickett fan at all. I've seen the lows, and they are very low. Then in the draft, the first quarterback they took was of course Dylan Gabriel. It wasn't Shedeur Sanders, and that alone doesn't guarantee who the starter will be, but it definitely gives us insight into the Browns' internal evaluations. Pickett and Gabriel were clearly the first choices. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. If the Browns truly believe this is a battle between Pickett and Gabriel, that's a pretty big endorsement of what they've seen from both guys in OTAs and minicamp. Pickett is still just 27 years old. He started over 20 games for Pittsburgh and even led a playoff push at one point, even if the offense was often conservative and clunky. He wasn't a great fit in that Matt Canada system, but there were moments where he showed composure, mobility, and flashes of leadership. The knock on Pickett has always been his ceiling. Is he just a safe, game-managing type of quarterback, or can he actually grow into something more? Because we haven't seen that yet. And then there's Dylan Gabriel. Now, this is where the debate really begins and gets spicy. Gabriel is a rookie, but he's one of the most experienced quarterbacks to ever enter the NFL draft, so he's barely a rookie. We're talking about a guy who's made over 60 starts in college, played at both UCF and Oklahoma, and then obviously he finished last year at Oregon, and he put up some serious numbers. The question, of course, is his size. He's under 6 feet tall and doesn't have elite arm strength, but if you listen to Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, when they talk about Gabriel, they keep asking the same thing. Show us where his size limits him on tape. And from a processing and decision-making standpoint, Gabriel might actually be more polished than some of the other rookies who went ahead of him in the class. But then there's reality, and reality is Gabriel's size has shown up, especially in OTAs. There were reports of passes getting batted down at the line of scrimmage. One play went kind of viral when Mason Graham did it. It's one thing to carve up Big 12 defenses, but it's another thing to throw over NFL linemen who are all 6'5" and have 84-inch wingspans. That's where you start to wonder, can he really function in a pro-style offense without those windows shrinking to nothing? And then there's the question nobody seems to be asking, what's the play for Joe Flacco? This is a veteran who literally saved the Browns' playoff chances 2 seasons ago. He knows the Kevin Stefanski system, he has the respect of the locker room, and sure, he's not mobile and he's 39 years old. He didn't really have a good stint with the Colts in Indianapolis, but if we're talking about putting together a competent offense, Flacco's track record is by far the most proven. So the idea that he might already be out of the competition, that feels a little premature, that feels kind of stupid, and I think what we're seeing here is more about what the Browns are hoping to see rather than what's already been decided. According to these reports, Flacco is the fallback plan. He's the insurance policy. If Pickett bombs and Gabriel isn't ready, Flacco can step in and give you a shot to win. But if you're the Browns and you've used a mid-round pick on Gabriel, traded for Pickett, and still have Shedeur Sanders developing behind the scenes, you kind of have to let those guys battle it out, because none of this works long term if you're relying on a 39-year-old quarterback. Now, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. It seems like every time he's mentioned in this quarterback competition, people automatically assume it's a long shot, but this is a guy with a real NFL arm, legit poise, and plenty of college production. He slid in the draft mainly because teams weren't sure about the jumping competition level from Colorado's system to the NFL, and also his publicity and maybe even his dad and everything that could possibly come with him and his brand, but nobody denies that the tools are there, and the fact that he hasn't really gotten buzz in the early competition doesn't mean he's out of the picture. And obviously, he has gotten buzz from fans and channels like me, but he did not get a lot of first team reps taking things to reality. He has not had a big chance to prove himself yet, and it might just mean the Browns are playing the long game with him, because the worst thing you can do with a rookie quarterback is throw him out into the fire before he's ready, even if the fan base wants you to do so. And at the end of the day though, what makes this whole thing so fascinating is that the Browns have legitimately taken the throw darts at the wall and see what sticks approach to their quarterback room, and in this case, that might be the right move because they've invested resources across the board, a trade for a former first rounder in Pickett, a high potential rookie in Gabriel, a legacy vet in Flacco, and then a wild card project with a ton of upside in Sanders. And when you consider they've let the Deshaun Watson situation hover without clarity, this was the only way to give themselves flexibility heading into training camp. But here's the key thing to watch over the next month. How do these reps get divided in training camp? If Pickett truly is QB1, you'll see it in practice. He'll be getting the lion's share of the first team reps. If Gabriel starts getting more work with the starters, that's your clue that this thing is a legit toss-up, and if Flacco is mostly working with the 2s or 3s, which I highly doubt we'll see, that means the Browns are sticking with youth for now. I also want to touch on something that's not being talked about enough, the cost. The Browns gave up a 5th round pick for Pickett, so that's nothing, but he's also worth nothing, and it's not a franchise-defining move at all. And that tells you they're not married to the idea of him being the future, they're just open to him winning the job. But they didn't mortgage the future for him, same thing with Gabriel, same thing with Sanders. They spent a day 2 pick on him, that's a sign they believe in him, but it's not the same as taking a guy in the top 10. It's all about value, and right now, the Browns are just trying to find the best value option to bridge them to their next franchise guy, whether that's one of these 4 or someone they haven't even found yet. So what does all of this mean for the Browns heading into the 2025 season? It means we're probably going to see one of the most wide open quarterback battles in the league. It means training camp is going to matter and all eyes are going to be on it. There's going to be a ton of buzz and a ton of news. It means preseason snaps are going to matter, and it means that by the time we get to week 1, the Browns will have made a decision, not just about who gives them the best shot to win now, but who might actually give them a chance to build something sustainable for the future, because this isn't just about 2025, this is about finding stability at the most important position in football, a position that's been a revolving door for Cleveland for way too long, and a position that has haunted this franchise. And I would love to see the problem finally get solved before the new stadium gets built, because I really hope you guys don't fall for it. Don't pay extra money to put in the Haslam's pocket just for having a new stadium when the team is still awful. Only pay if the product on the field is actually good. But that's just my 2 cents, and that's really all I have to say for this video. Let me know what you guys think about this quarterback situation and everything that's going on in the comments below. I love hearing your thoughts and reading all the comments. And also, if you made it to this point and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world, and let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.